And now we are live. So Morioki, you can proceed.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This is SAS-K, Skeptics and Atheists Society of Kenya. Yeah, you can just watch and feel free to like and subscribe and be part of us anytime you want to. So today, the topic is about social media. Does it ruin community and mental health? Does social media ruin community and mental health? So now, my first question is, when you hear social media, what do you think of? What's the first thing in your mind when you hear social media? Thanks. Yeah, anyone? When you hear the word social media, okay, ex-Pastor Stano.
To me, a social media is the way of communication through internet or in a network, through a network. So we are able to express our view or to communicate to each other, no matter the distance. So whether it's a positive information or negative information. So it's just a way where we communicate in a way that we cannot be able to see each other or from a distance.
But Stano, we can see each other like Zoom. Zoom, we can see each other, right? Through Zoom. Zoom, we can see each other. Or that's not good enough for you?
That is why I added the word or on distance.
Okay, fine. Okay, thanks, Stano. El Maestro?
For me, it is just when I think of social media, it is a platform where people socialize online. That's what people can communicate and socialize on an online platform where people socialize and they communicate, things like something like that.
Okay, thanks. Anybody else? When you have social media, what goes through your mind? Pragmatist. When you have social media, what goes through your head? Pragmatist, are you there?
Yeah, I am. I think it's already been said. It's just a combination of all those things the other guys have said.
Okay, fine. Okay, thanks. Then maybe because we're discussing the social media ruin community and mental health. So maybe we can define also community. When you have community, what goes through your mind? The word community, what goes through your mind when you hear it? Stano.
It's just a group of people living together. Yeah, for a certain purpose or to fulfill their goal.
Okay, fine. So, okay, Ndebe, when you have community, what goes through your mind? Ndebe.
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute.
Okay. Ndebe, you're good, eh?
Oh, I don't know what I am sorry, I unmuted. I muted myself. I unmuted and then muted myself. So community, there was a time that community was just your village, or maybe during caveman days, just the people in your cave. And then it became the people in your village. And then it became probably the people in your location, and then the people in your country. Now with the social media, you are reach instantaneously. You can reach, depending on the media or on your following, you can reach hundreds of thousands or millions of people instantaneously. And that is nice, and it's also scary. But yes, but that is what community is. It can be just you are rich.
You're somehow breaking it. You're not very clear. Just note that you're breaking somehow. Okay, thank you, David. Anybody else? When you're community, what goes to your mind? Okay, fine. Juliana?
Thanks, Marioki. Just to add on to what the two people who've described it is, a community, I think to Stano and Deve. So when I hear community, it is just a gathering of individuals, be it in person or virtually, that have a special interest that is of interest to them. So, and a community, again, can be anywhere, everywhere, anytime, anyhow, just depending on what the technology is available and time zones. So, virtual or in person, gathering of people with special interests. That's what I think about a community. It doesn't even have to be people that you're related with. Way back when, a community was your village. That's all you knew, the village. That's all changed. So community to me is virtual or in person, anywhere, anyway, anyhow, with a special interest. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Juliana. Anyone else? Community? Okay, fine. Since we're discussing does social media ruin community and mental health? So how about when you hear mental health? What do you guys think? When you hear the two words mental health, what do you think? Mental health. Does social media ruin mental health? So what's mental health? I think it's good to define also mental health. Anyone? A pragmatist, when you hear mental health, what do you think?
That's really a complicated question to answer. But mental health is mostly the wellness of your mental processes, so to say, like the way you think. Sometimes it affects your emotions, the way you feel, how you react. It's simply about the mind. If your mind is functioning optimally, that's what mental health is all about. You know, some things like depression, some things like stress, some things like all those things that affect the way your brain or our brains process information. That's what mental health is. It's all about. And it's really not like the other physical health. I think it's called physical health. It's not really like physical health, because sometimes it's really difficult to put a hand on things to do with mental health. Because for physical health is I have injured my toe, I have headache, what causes that headache, I have malaria. For physical health, it's somehow easier to diagnose what's going on as compared to things to do with mental health.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks, Pragmat. Thank you. Okay, and Maestro, mental health.
I think when you say about mental health, it's things to do with your someone's emotional psychological or social wellness. Something like that. How someone is thinking or feeling emotionally, psychologically, or socially, and their wellness and all those factors.
Okay, thanks, Maestro. Okay. Now, I want to ask this question. Like today, we're having a Zoom meeting. Can you say that a Zoom meeting is not the same as if we're together? Is there a difference, or there's no big deal? Like if we're together, would there be a better impact? Would it be better or worse if we're meeting physically? Is there a difference with this Zoom meeting and a physical? Physical, if we are seeing each other, is there a big difference? There's no big difference. What do you guys think?
Hebu rudia swali.
Yeah, like you said, right now we're using social media to have this Zoom meeting. I'm asking if we are seeing each other, would there be a difference? There's no big difference. If I was seeing you like in a place, in a hall, or in a house together, in a Zoom meeting, is there a big difference? There's no big deal. Yeah, you got that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And
No,
Maestro? Yeah. Yeah. And Maestro?
Okay. Of course, there's a big difference. You know, when you meet one on one, and when you meet on Zoom, it is not the same. When you are one on one, there are a lot of things that you can do, and also the concentration. You know, when you are on Zoom, the concentration levels are a bit low compared to when you meet one on one. For
Maestro,
me,
why are they low,
okay,
Maestro?
it is Zoom.
Maestro,
Well,
why are they low? Why are you saying the concentration is low? The concentration, why is it low? Because you're hiding, or because you're hiding? Why is it low?
yes, of course. That's because I'm using I'm using a phone. But when it is one on one, it is not the same. But you know, the thing is, even though it is not the same as when you are one on one, at least Zoom, it makes things easier. Because you know now, for us meeting one on one, it takes a lot of resources. So even though Zoom meeting one on one is not the same as Zoom, but it also makes things make meetings a bit faster. Like maybe in a company, if they want a meeting, instead of calling everyone, someone is, I don't know, someone is in Eldoret, someone is where. We should meet tomorrow. We just arrange a Zoom meeting the very next day, and you do it quick.
So, okay, fine. Thanks, Maestro. So, anybody else? Okay. Okay, thank you. Tano?
Yeah, meeting
Tano.
one on one that have. So I'm saying meeting one on one have many advantage because you can be able to interact more deeply to each other than virtual. You can also be able to have that much connection to each other than virtual. But on the other hand, the virtual have other advantage because you can be able to meet anytime. We don't need any logistic. That have some inconvenience because of traffic. So I think the most appropriate is meeting one-on-one, but because of many disadvantage, which are because of getting the time and also for logistic problem. Virtual is the one many people prefer because that is the easiest way.
Okay, thanks, Tanu. And Pragmatist, what do you think? Is there a big difference between a Zoom and a physical meeting?
Of course, there are differences between physical or in-person meetings versus virtual meetings. And that's because, number one, the virtual meeting is heavily relying on technology. So right now, if my connection were to be unstable, it would be very difficult to communicate. Or if anyone's connection is unstable, we can't communicate well. Some of us are using gadgets like phones, for example. You realize that the phone has a limit in terms of the volume, unless I connect with Bluetooth to bigger speakers. Sometimes you might find that any slight noise around affects the ability to hear the person on the other end. So there are those tiny things. But then in-person meetings also have that challenge of the logistics behind them, all of that. But they sometimes they tend to be very effective because, like I think it was Eston who mentioned something to do with attention. While in-person meetings, attention is much higher than this kind of you can easily be distracted when in an online meeting as compared to an in-person meeting. So yes, there are differences, but they both have their own advantages and disadvantages.
Okay, thanks, Pragmatist. Anybody else? Is a Zoom meeting better than a physical meeting? Anyone else? Okay, fine. So okay, Ndebe here. Ndebe.
Yeah, it is nice to talk about the stability of a network at the right time when I'm having issues with stability of my
Yeah,
network. So
Ndebe.
that right
Ndebe.
there.
Ndebe, you're a good example, eh? You're a good
Yes,
example.
right there. Yeah, right there is one of the. But on the other hand, none of you traveled hundreds or thousands of kilometers to be in this meeting, even if it's unstable. So there's a give and take. And another disadvantage of a Zoom meeting as compared to a physical meeting is the fact that you can't pay attention to a person, the behavior or the appearance or the comportment, the courage of somebody. I can hide my courage behind my screen, but in physical meeting, there are more things that cannot be hidden. So if you make a meeting with somebody 20 times, physical meetings, you will, the real person will start to emerge to you. But behind a screen, it can be years before the real person starts to emerge. There really is no warmth. There is no physical touch. There's no reality behind a screen. So I think that can be one of the things. But on the other hand, you are not traveling thousands of kilometers for this and spending so much money. So in a world that has become so small, it fits right there, that kind of I'll call it a superfluid. It's a small world, so there's superfluities there. Thank you.
Sorry, Juliana.
Yeah. So before COVID, there were some attempts to have things like Zoom. I believe even Zoom was there. And me personally, I did not like it. Of course, after COVID, because of COVID, we had no choice because we couldn't meet in person. And as a result, people rose to the occasion and really improved the platform of Zoom. So long as the technology works, I think Zoom is the way to go. And here's why. David said, yeah, we didn't have to travel to be in this meeting. Most important, myself, I do work from home. My team is in Montreal, which is about 4 hours flight away. So I just wake up in the morning, I log into, we use Teams, but it's like Zoom, same concept. I log in, it could take me 5 minutes from the time I wake up to log into a meeting to half an hour if I decide to have a shower. That's how fast it is. And I don't have to bother dressing up. I just have to show up. Now, talking about emotions, one of the things my boss says when we're in a meeting with her, we have to turn on our cameras. In some teams, and they don't, especially most of those IT teams, they don't even turn on cameras. For us, you must turn on your camera so that everyone can see you. So if you're trying to do something different, you will be seen generally. And the other thing about I like about Zoom is handling your emotions. So if I was in a meeting and I got very upset or something happened, maybe I got sick, I'll have to stay there and deal with it because people are looking at me. But in a Zoom meeting, I can quickly say, be right back, turn off my camera, turn off my sound, go and compose myself and come back. So I like it for that. What else? Oh, can multitask. So I can take my Zoom meeting with me to the kitchen, turn off my sound, chop my onions, fry my vegetables. Sure, I'm being distracted, but I look at it as multitasking. So I'm making the best effective use of my time because I can listen at the same time cook so that by the time everything is done, I can eat. So I am saving a lot of time by having Zoom meetings. And in fact, talk of Zoom meetings, we used to have to travel to conferences, spend thousands of dollars for hotel and air flight. And now you join the conference through Zoom. You are looking at the speaker who might be in England, in Australia, in Africa. It doesn't matter. Being able to participate at almost no cost or very little cost. So yes, so long as the technology works, Zoom is the way to go. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Juliana. In fact, you mentioned a very strong point about being composed. Like in a Zoom meeting, if somebody upsets you, there can't be any like a physical confrontation. You can just go and compose yourself, then you come back. I think that's very powerful. In a Zoom meeting, you can compose yourself better than physical. So that's powerful. Thanks. I not thought about it that way. Thanks a lot. So Doctors, just coming. Doctors, we are saying what's better, a Zoom meeting or a physical meeting? You can chip in, Doctors, on that question. What's better, a Zoom or a physical meeting?
I am decidedly anti-technology. So all my answers will be biased towards real interactions, real interactions. I don't even think twice. I remember how I felt after our last video shoot and our last hangout, our last outdoor hangout. The connections, the laughter, the food, everything. It was just infinitely better compared to this. I'm not deriding. I'm not deriding the Neves and the Julianas who can't be able to join us physically because of geographical constraints. But a Zoom meeting is a fraction. A Zoom meeting is like a canoe, while a physical meeting is like the yacht. You cannot compare the two. Absolutely not. The effectiveness, the bonding, the remembrance, everything. It is more personal, it's more effective in my book. So I will definitely vote for a physical meeting whenever possible. Thank you.
Hey, Doctors, you've destroyed social media, Doctors. You've destroyed social media completely. I can see you're really anti-social media.
No, there will be other points as we continue where I will acknowledge the positive dimension. But here, when it just comes to meetings specifically.
Okay, thanks, Doctors. And maybe we can just break it down now. Can somebody give us like 5 advantages of social media? Just 5. Somebody 5 things you find they are advantages when you use social media. Advantages. Anyone? Anyone? 5 advantages of social media. Okay, and Maestro? And Maestro?
Oh,
And
sorry,
Maestro there?
I did not put on my mute. I did not unmute. Okay. So for me, when I think of maybe the advantages of social media, number one, I can say it makes it makes connections easier. Like there you can connect with Dave and Juliana there who they are far away. Or only right now, I don't know, Muruki, if you are in Nairobi or in Kirinyaga,
Nairobi.
it makes,
I mean Nairobi.
yeah, okay, yeah. Like now, when Muruki is in Nairobi, and even if you are in Nairobi, we're in different places, so it makes the world like what they say, a global village. So it makes connectivity much better. Maybe if I think of the people who are what do we call them, these who don't speak a lot, that called
Introvert.
yes,
Introvert?
introverts. Yes, introverts, they are at least able to express themselves using social media, because in real life they are shy in real life. But now when it comes to social media, they just they can at least express themselves freely, and also maybe they of course it can also be used to to create quick access, to give people quick access to a lot of things. Like maybe if I'm in Nairobi and I need a document that someone in Nakuru, they just send via social media, and information is sent faster. Although some people misuse this thing to send to always be spreading fake information, but because spreading of information is a bit quicker. Things like those, I can think of those 3 out of my head. Maybe the others I can Google the others, but those are the others I can think of quickly in my head.
Okay, thanks, and Maestro. Okay, in the 3 advantages of social media, please.
Let me start with access to news. So if something happens somewhere, it will be available for better or for worse. It is going to be available all over the world. So that is, and I said for better or for worse, but it is going to be available. The other one, and that is where I should have started. It makes it a level playing field. You want to create a blog, you can create a blog just as much as somebody in Asia or somebody in North America or someone in the North Pole can create a blog or something. You have got access to all these people, all these sites. You are in Facebook, you are in all that. It's a playing field. Makes it a level playing field, somewhat. So that the people who are very creative then can take their art or their creativity to that playing field, no matter whether they are in a village or wherever they are. Then the whole world can see their creativity. The whole world can see their art. They have access to that kind of. That is where it is at. I'm going to leave the other points to someone else to bring them up. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, David. Dorcas, advantages.
Okay. I think I concur very much with what the other speakers have said, including finding community. I think it was El Maestro who spoke about it, but let me just reiterate. I believe that social media has quickened the process of finding your tribe, quote unquote, not your ethnic community, but people you affiliate with. And that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how unpopular the idea is. Social media will connect you to your community. And of course, that brings me to who we are as atheists. We are a minority in a predominantly religious country. But thanks to social media, thanks to the work some of you members are doing over there, like El Maestro, he's managing our TikTok account. And we have Omondi, who is handling, I believe, Instagram. And then I don't know who is handling our Facebook. I think it has become dormant. Tunahitaji kuchangamka, guys. We need volunteers. But we know there are several people who've heard about us and have joined our group because of TikTok or Facebook. They were actually very surprised that there is such a community. So I think we cannot underscore that part. It's so hard to mobilize people when you are using traditional media. So yeah, that community. At least it initiates the process. Now, whether you sustain the community, that's another matter altogether that perhaps we will get into when we're talking of the disadvantages. But at least it initiates the step of finding your tribe. Secondly, is in business. Social media is a game changer. It helps you to build your brand. It helps you to grow your audience. And it helps you to sell your merchandise. Either you can do it directly on your social media page, or you could get, let's say, a platform where people come together, a marketplace where people sell stuff. For instance, I remember when I was selling my my desk seat, and it's actually an office chair, or an office chair. And I just went to Facebook, used household goods group. I put it there, and in a matter of minutes, there were people who were reaching out to me asking where I'm located. So I was able to sell some stuff, even if I'm not in the business of selling it. I'm assuming now the ones who are in the business of selling more products can also do so at a faster rate. And in fact, in line with what Deva was saying, that it has leveled the playing field, social media marketing, when done organically, without paying for advertisements, just doing it organically by growing your brand, by growing your followers and posting content, is very cheap. It's very affordable, and anybody can have access to it. So I think we cannot underscore that. In fact, I've been told by my brother, by some guy who was dating me, situationship manenos, is like, Dorcas, you need to get on TikTok. Like your talent is too good for you not to be on TikTok. TikTok is a game changer. Like, you will be surprised when you join it, why you didn't do it any sooner, how many clients you get. Forget Facebook, forget IG or X. You need to get on TikTok. It's the hottest kid on the block. Yeah, for businesses and for products, for selling products. So yeah, there's that. Then the third one is on political mobilization. Last year we had the anti-finance bill protests, and it was largely taking place on X. You would get hundreds or thousands of people attending those X meetings, and different individuals who were nobodies before the Gen Z protest. These people were nobodies, but they became very prominent in the movement because of social media. I remember my friends, when we were meeting physically, they were telling me they feel like Mau Mau. They are fighting for the freedom of our country. And all because they were attending those X meetings. And then they were like, Lucas, how are you not on X? Because as I told you guys, I am anti-social media. Guy, I have issues with it, which we'll get into shortly. But like, Dorcas, you cannot participate in the revolution outside. You need to be on Twitter. Yeah. So on Twitter is where they were updating guys on where the protests would be, how to prepare, what time, those strategies that you're supposed to use. Everything was going on Twitter. And it was amazing, the things that Gen Zs accomplished via social media. And we've seen this in other countries, even as far back as the mid 2010s, when we had the Northern African countries, Akina Algeria, Akina Tunisia, and the Arabic. It was called the Arab Spring. It began on Facebook and Twitter. Most of those countries, they overthrew their dictatorial leaders courtesy of social media. So it brings power to the people, and it enables you to share very quick information. When you're in a political crisis, or in a politically volatile period, you don't have time to rely on traditional media outlets, which often are compromised by the very governments that you're trying to fight. So you need this place that you can just communicate directly with the people. So I think it's so powerful, and I don't see any other equivalent that could have been used to achieve the same results that we got via social media last year during those anti-finance bill protests. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Doctor. David, your hand went up. Was it an advantage or something else? Your hand went up.
Yes, I wanted to add something that is always being skipped, and that is the one about learning. There is a lot of opportunity to learn. I learn all my French. I mean, I do have French teachers, and they are not, let me not go there. But I have a lot of opportunity to learn French, and from different sources. And I've got access to French people, not Canadian French is not, I was going to use that bad word. It's nothing. I have got access to French, real French teachers online, and it is free. Now, occasionally you will do something. You'll put in something just because you're kind of taking advantage. But it is really free. There is no way what I'm getting from them is equivalent to what my Canadian French teachers are being paid by the government to do some strange stuff. But anyway, yeah, so there's a lot of access to learn. Yeah, don't forget about Dr. Neil deGrasse. He's out there teaching you about space. It is all accessible for free. All that. You can learn calculus. You can learn, oh my goodness, I don't even know what the kind of things that you can learn out there. So let's not forget the learning. We are people who have to learn because right down the road, we are going to talk about the ills of social media. And that is why we really need to learn, keep learning about all kind of things because it's accessible. The other one is entertainment. Let's not forget entertainment and social media. I loved Shavashi. Oh, Kenyans, I don't know. Sometimes I feel bad that I left, but they are online. Kenya is still online there. I can take access of the ability of Kenyans to entertain, to take this real information, real sad situations, and create fun out of it. I just can't even believe it. And by the way, entertainment takes a lot of brain. It's just not everybody that can create entertainment out there. No, it's a special gift. And I'm glad that these people can be online and they can get clicks and they can be recognized because they are out there and they are capable. Yeah. I just wanted to add those along with it. And yes, there's a point that Dorcas made that with social media, people who are mobilizing can cut out the middleman. And it was always the middleman between the newspaper, the paper newspaper, and the people who are mobilizing was always the government. It's always the government right there trying to mess up things. But now you can cut out that. You can cut out the government and just go straight to mobilizing. And yeah, just like that. They can be nowhere. They actually have, we saw last year that they don't have a place when mobilization is in social media. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Neville. Now we can go to the disadvantages. Maybe I can start with Juliana. You gave very good points. You gave very good advantages. So I'm curious, Juliana, can you give us 3 disadvantages, please, Juliana? Because you gave very strong points about advantages. What about disadvantages? Juliana.
Sorry. Disadvantages of technology. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Misinformation,
Yeah.
false information. And because I have my tribe, I believe what my tribe says without taking the time to research and confirm my sources. It can also make me to be one-sided, one topic focused. So I'll stop listening to other things because every day I get up, I just go to my WhatsApp group and that's all I see. And I stop exploring. There is a danger of that. What's the other disadvantage? Oh, distractions. There are some people who cannot go more than 1 minute without looking at their social medias. It's like they're addicted. I think I read an article that said the addiction is almost as bad as being addicted to alcohol or cigarettes. And when they don't have access to their devices for a while, it's almost like they have like very bad withdrawal symptoms. So that could be one of the disadvantages. But yeah, I think I'll stop there. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Juliana. Okay, anybody else? Disadvantages of social media. 3, El Maestro.
Yes, okay. For me, it is the one disadvantage of social media is the way it has created a societal pressure. You know, especially especially this generation of youths. They see people the way people they live, especially on the Instagram app and sometimes even on Facebook app. Someone they just want to imitate whatever other people or how other people are living or what other people are doing or the celebrities, and it creates this what is this peer pressure, this societal pressure, and some people if they see they cannot do this, they think they're failures in life, or some even end up doing criminal activities just to to get money to do these things, or some even they get depression, and that brings us to our topic of mental health. It affects their mental health when they are pressured to do this. They get this pressure from social media to do these things. If they see someone is living a lavish lifestyle, they also want to live that way. This societal pressure that social media, that comes with social media. I think if people are not careful to just live their own life, especially the youth of today, it's very detrimental to their lives.
Then you're done, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much. Let Dorcas go first, people on Deb. Deb was first, but Dorcas go, then Deb.
Okay. Disadvantages. Yes. I think the first one, and the main reason why I tend to stay away from social media is social comparison, low self-esteem, and unhappiness. Every time I go on social media, I feel inadequate. I feel like I'm falling behind. Why? Because I'm comparing myself to people's highlight reels. You know, the people are cherry picking the best part of their lives and showcasing that, or they are lying about it. In fact, social media is full of fake stuff. These so-called influencers that we see in our midst, they are fake. They fake vacations. They fake designer wear. They fake interesting sites that they visited. They're not even there, or they fake how they look. Their figures, they Photoshop. They fake their faces. You know, they edit them. They use all of these features, especially on places like Snapchat and Instagram. They're really heavy on editing features, photo editing features. In fact, I see it with my niece. My niece just turned 18. Ironically, there's somebody who shared on our WhatsApp group that they are people who were born in 2007 are officially edible. Terrible. But edible here means, yeah, edible, metaphorically speaking, unaweza wakula legally without getting arrested. So yeah, she turned 18, and her generation is the one that grew up with social media. Like when she was just becoming a teen, that's when Instagram caught on. So I see how anxious she is about showing who she really is. She has to edit her images. She has to use those filters before she puts her pictures on there, because she is insecure about how she really looks, and she's afraid she will not live up to the expectations that she had set for most of those people. And now the followers, the people who are watching her, are comparing themselves to that edited version. So I feel like it creates a standard which you can never meet as a real human. You can never meet it. It's just impossible, because it's not real. And when you are on a social media platform that has a lot of your former colleagues or friends, people you went to school with, especially a place like Facebook. Facebook was originally for your former schoolmates. Yeah, at least with Akina TikTok and Akina IG, it's just new people. But for Facebook, it's really your friends from back in the day or your schoolmates. You're looking at them, you're like, guy, yani Wanja siku hizi, she's a pilot. Now she's in Bahrain. The other time she was in South Africa. It just makes somebody feel really, really inadequate, like you can never measure up. And for me, it does not make me happy. It makes me feel like I haven't lived up to my potential or whatever. So there's that aspect. The second disadvantage is brain rot. And this one is really a big one because I feel like the brain is the most important organ in the body, and anything that compromises it should be treated cautiously. So there are many people who go on social media innocently thinking, yes, I'm going to find community or I'm going to find some entertainment here and there. But the moment you get there, you just find yourself scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Why? Because social media companies hire psychologists to ensure that they hook you such that you are always clicking, you are always scrolling. You hear of people who go on TikTok with the intention of being there for 30 minutes and 5 hours later they are still there. Because the inventors of those platforms designed it to make you hooked. They take advantage of human psychological weaknesses. So you just find yourself there. And because these some of these newer platforms like TikTok, because they focus on short form content, 1 minute videos, 30-second videos, things like those, it does something to your brain when you can't watch long content. It deteriorates your ability to concentrate on things. Back in the day when John F. Kennedy was vying for president in the US, they had a lengthy debate. Sorry, not John F. Kennedy. There's another president who was there before they invented TV, but it was radio. And it was almost 3 or 4 hours long, and nobody in the audience fidgeted, left, or lost interest because those humans had been socialized, they'd been trained to be able to sustain long attention spans. You need to have that ability in order to be productive. In order for you to make something useful in society, you need to be able to focus on it for a long period of time. But what social media does, these newer forms like TikTok and Instagram Reels, these days you just see Reels, short Reels. Even YouTube has introduced short form content. And what that does is it compromises your ability to concentrate. It's making you a scatterbrain. You have the attention span of a jellyfish, and that it hinders your productivity. It hinders your relationships. You can't even listen to somebody for long. We've had people on our group who are saying, you guys, actually a Zoom meeting that's 3 hours long, you expect us to watch such a Zoom meeting. So you just look for an editor to reduce it to 30 minutes. Then Anand was like, 30 minutes is too long. Reduce it to 10 minutes. Just so this whole discussion that we are having, they want us to cut it down. We were like, we don't mind doing that if somebody can volunteer to edit. Somebody can listen to all the 3 hours or 4 hours of the Zoom meeting and then cut it down to those 30 minutes or 10 minutes that you guys want. But we don't have anybody to do it at the moment. So it's affecting us everywhere. It's affecting people's jobs. It's affecting people's ability to innovate and invent. You need to spend time with an idea, with something at length.
Doctor, 1 minute. 1 minute, please. 1 minute.
Okay. So you need to spend time with something at length for you to create something beautiful out of it. Yeah, not many things can be created in 30 minutes, 30 seconds or a minute. Yeah. So that is one major disadvantage of it, because I've been told my time is up. Let me stop there.
Thank you, Dorcas. David?
Thanks, Muriuki. Let me start with the cyberbullying, because it is insidious. I mean, it is there, and particularly for the younger people who maybe they are less resilient to the comments of a person. Like when there are people who, when they put their content there, they only expect positive, because they probably they are young. That is their situation. They just want positive comments, and then then the whole world comes down and tells them some things that they do not want to hear, whether it's the truth or not. Then they consider it may be bullying, or maybe it is not bullying, and there could be real bullying. So that it can affect the mental health of somebody. Even older people, they can be affected by that. Then we've got the scams and the frauds. I have watched some of the scams that go on online through social media, that somebody has got somebody's out there looking for love, particularly older people, men and women. They're out there, they're looking for love, or even they are not looking for love, and then somebody comes and tells them how how we like to be told how we are, whatever, flattery and all that, and before you know it, somebody is being scammed. They are sending money. I don't even know how you send thousands of dollars to somebody you've not even met. Sometimes the people being scammed send this money to somebody before they've even had a phone conversation with them, because they're telling them, oh, I am a pilot, or I'm an engineer working offshore. I can't even believe that older people believe some of the scam stories. If you hear those scam stories, you even wonder how somebody believed those stories. You're just giving money. I know in North America, maybe in the Europe, people can be a little more kind and a little more believing, but still, you just don't give your money just like that. And then the lies start and the manipulation comes, and oh my goodness, some people have ended up losing their lives and all that, and the livelihoods. There you go. That is the scams and fraud and particularly if people are not interested in real life, they have forgotten, they have ignored their real life with their family. Particularly when people are being scammed, the scammer pulls the person from real life, from real family, and says that, oh, your daughter is telling you all these things, you should ignore your daughter. So then they are pulled from real life, and before you know it, it's a disaster. So that is the one, and we have already talked about the unrealistic standards, and also privacy. So now in social media, particularly younger people, I find that maybe in North America, people will give a lot of information because sometimes they are young. They might even give where they live. They give them where they go to school, and sometimes it's not a good, it's not a nice person. So young people have been kidnapped, and a lot of bad things have happened to them because they gave a lot of information, and this person used the same information to either kidnap them or to meet this young man or young girl in a motel or in somewhere which is compromising, and a lot of bad things happen to these young people because they gave a lot of their information to someone that they thought was a young boy their age, but it was probably a grown man that was able to manipulate them. And so those are some of the things with social media, and we know how awful they are, but that is this tool that we have, which is very, very good. But on the other hand, it is what it is. But I think we are the ones that are going to have to learn how to use this tool that we have. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, David. Okay, Juliana.
Yeah, thanks, Morioki. Yes, I don't know. Sometimes we must be conscious that we don't fully blame social media for the evils of society, because those evils existed way before social media. So a good one that David has addressed, of course, is the scam one. I can tell you, scams used to be there, and some of them were very sophisticated, because I remember almost being scammed. This would have been in the 80s by a guy on the street. You know how you walk and there's money dropped down and somebody said, "Oh, there's $10. Look, let's go share." And before I knew it, I was almost scammed. Luckily, I sort of realized that this is not true. These guys wanted me to go and steal. They thought I was an accountant or a clerk or a data entry person in those days. So they wanted me to go and steal the money so I can come back and they can multiply it. So these scams have been there. Even I recall talking of my mom was a believer. Not only did she believe in Christianity, but she also believed in witchcraft. And we used to have people who come to stay with us. In fact, I'm surprised we were not attacked. They would really literally come to our house and we have to feed these people. And then at night, they will go on top of the house and bring out a horn or some piece of thing. And that way they say, "Oh, we've taken out the evil stuff." And my mom is playing hundreds of dollars. Those days it was hundreds of dollars. Scam artists. And so, yes, scams have always been there. But I know because of social media, people have more access. But let's not forget that we should just not throw away social media because of the evils that are happening right now. They've always been there. It's just that now it's easier to do. Talk about scamming with boyfriends, girlfriends. Oh my gosh, it happens all the time. Those days, I mean, you have a boyfriend and they have another girl somewhere and you don't even know it. In fact, social media, at least, you're able to track those activities and know there's somebody else. In those days, you have no idea. You're in Nairobi with this guy, he goes to Nakuru or wherever else, he's got another woman. Yeah. So let's not forget some of these evils existed even way before social media. Social media might make it easier, but we've always been evil one way or another. Thanks.
Thanks, Juliana. I think let's focus on something which I think is very new. Like maybe, I don't know if I'm right, if I say in the 1940s or 50s, there was no cyberbullying. I want us to focus on cyberbullying. First of all, when you hear cyberbullying, what do you think of? Yeah, because I noticed even in our WhatsApp group, you can read something. Then I didn't know that reading can affect your brain. Somebody will say something that can affect you just by reading what the person said about you. It can affect you. Just like the words. If somebody says something bad about you, or if you read something, it can affect you. So I don't know this cyberbullying, that's new for sure. So do you think cyberbullying is that bad? Because that's new. That's something that has come because of social media. And I see that when you read something, it can affect your mental health also, just by reading. So I don't know what do you think. What do you guys think of cyberbullying? Okay, Juliana.
Yeah, so Miriuki, you're right. Cyberbullying, by the definition of itself, it has to be cyber, it has to be online. But bullying has been around, I think, since time immemorial. So when I recall growing up, I was actually bullied when I was young. Now, the bullying was different, it was more in person, but then they can also be bullies who would send around notes, an anonymous note. So it's like being on the internet, you don't know where it's coming from, and you're being bullied. So in those days, there's no internet, but you get pieces of paper, or somebody would write weird things about you, or people would talk about you behind your back, and you'd know this. So again, these things have been there. It's just that now they're exasperated with the technology. They've always been bullying. Yes, there was no cyberbullying in the 40s and the 50s. We did not have internet the way that we do. We did not have internet. Gosh, I remember coming to Canada in 91. We didn't even have true internet. We had the text-based internet. I remember those days. And look at where we are right now. So did bullying start? No, it's always been there. It's just that now the technology makes it easier. We have a different venue of bullying, but bullying has always been there. Although I guess it's not as spread out and as easily spread as it is now, where you just press a button and you're reaching 1 million people talking about somebody badly. Whereas those days you have to make an effort. If you have to write a message, or if you have to meet them behind the school or behind the bush and bully these people. So again, that's why I'm with that. Okay.
So, Juliana, somebody once said that verbal abuse is worse than physical abuse. So, do you agree that verbal abuse is worse than physical abuse? Is that true,
It
Juliana?
depends. Yeah, I think it depends. It really depends on the person, on what kind it is, and the person's personality, on how they approach things. So it's hard to say, like black and white, one is better than the other. It depends on a person. Talking about verbal abuse, so I'm in a men's field. Yeah, I'm in a professional that was traditionally for men only. In fact, I remember when I started working with Survey of Kenya, I was only like the fourth woman. And so when I go out to the field, I'm with men. And when I look back right now, I was actually being verbally abused in the field. But to me, I did not think of it that way. To me, I just thought of it, this is stupid, let's just do the work. So it depends on a person's personality, on the situation, on whether one is better than the other. So I can't say for sure which one is better or not. It depends.
Okay, thanks, Juliana. I asked that because I'm just shocked that you can read something about yourself and it affects you very badly. I didn't know that. Or you just read something about you. Somebody writes a text about you, and it goes straight to your head. Like even for one day, we're just thinking of what you read about yourself. That's why I asked that question. Thanks. Okay, Dorcas.
Okay.
Dorcas. Yeah.
Yes, I'm here. I think cyberbullying is a very toxic aspect of social media, and it is one of the reasons why our mental health is in jeopardy because of these platforms. Cyberbullying leads to anxiety, it leads to depression, and the worst outcome, suicide. I remember watching the case of this Australian teenager who was being cyberbullied by her classmates, and they had reported the matter to the school, but the school did nothing about it because they were like, that is going on online. It is not going on within our school premises, so it's outside our purview. And the girl kept being attacked over and over again by all of these other girls until she got to a point where she couldn't take it anymore and took her life. And what is worse is social media can also exacerbate that outcome of suicide by giving you that kind of content. Like if you're feeling down, if you're feeling depressed, you go on social media and you Google it, it starts flooding your feed with that kind of information, and it creates a negative feedback loop. So I think that's a detrimental part. Now, I would like to bring that aspect of cyberbullying home to us as Skeptics and Atheist Society of Kenya. I think WhatsApp is still a social media platform, as long as it's an online community. You know, some people say, no, WhatsApp is not social media because it's for messaging. It is only for messaging if you're not on any WhatsApp group. If you just use WhatsApp to talk to individuals, then it becomes a messaging platform. But if you are on WhatsApp groups, it becomes a social media platform. So on our WhatsApp group, I have noticed there's a lot of toxicity. It's like when you disagree with someone, instead of airing your view in an objective way, in a plain way, you have to demonize them. You know, you go jugular. Somebody was calling the other some nasty name this week. And this person is from outside the country. He's from outside Kenya. And, you know, he was calling him such a demeaning name because he held a different opinion from the one that was bullying him. And that's terrible. We should be able to express ourselves. We should be able to disagree with people without attacking them. I feel like social media makes people bring out the worst part of themselves, the unfiltered part, because you're hiding behind a screen. Human beings are a lot nicer when they're in person. When I'm seeing you here, like this, face to face, I will not be mean to you. I will put on my best behavior when I'm seeing you like this. But the moment you are just a character on a screen, it lifts that inhibition. There's no social etiquette. You're not even reading somebody's facial expressions or their body language to be able to see the effect that you're having on them. You're just depending on what they're typing over there. So it makes people toxic and caustic. They like, just as long as they disagree with you, as long as you're not in their camp. Maybe this person is an alpha male guru follower. They're into Akina Andrew Tate and Akina Andrew Kibe and the like. So the moment they hear that you are a feminist, this is an enemy. So they start attacking you. They even use terrible things, like natural things against you. I remember this week there was someone on our group. There was one lady who was taking on so many men. Poor lady. I wish she was here on the Zoom meeting. She was taking on all these dudes, and there was one guy. He's so caustic, and I feel like he belongs to that alpha male guru category. So he was so caustic. He's like, "Ama unanyesha. Are you on your periods? That's why you're so emotional." And he was demeaning her because of a natural aspect of being a woman, and for behavior that he was exhibiting, that you're being emotional, and even him was being emotional. So what the hell? Yeah. And I have found this to be true. Sometimes when I'm engaging in debates with people on the group, it becomes so vicious. It becomes just a net negative. And I've never seen people changing their minds from social media debates. It just drains you. It takes the energy out of you. It creates a very negative image of who human beings are. This is why Sam Harris, one of the atheists that I admire, quit Twitter. It's like it is a cesspool of toxicity. So I know I've spoken for long. Let me leave it there.
Okay, thank you, Dorcas. David? David,
Thanks, Muriuki. Thanks, Muriuki. I am wondering whether the reason that cyberbullying hurts more is because whatever you're being bullied about is accessible to more people than usual. Like if you are bullied in a class or in a village, it's just not very many people, but online, it's a lot more people. I don't know whether that is why it hurts them more or it would hurt just the same way. But it was just something that I wanted to put out there to see why it hurts more. And again, I always wonder in our atheist group why we can't actually stay. We can't actually why we have people have to go down to the roots and stop being reasonable, having a reasonable conversation that doesn't go to attacking the personality. I don't know. Sometimes I just wonder why it goes there. But then unfortunately, the people who go there with those insults are the same people who can't take it. They can dish it, but they also can't take it. But that is just something that I had just to throw out there. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, David. Now, maybe I'm thinking about this femicide issue. Femicide. This Kenyan girl who was killed, I think it was last year, in an Airbnb. She met her man through, I believe, Instagram. Now, can we say online media has increased the risk, like for especially for women, young women, being lured by male predators? Can you say online social media is making it worse? Because the girl met her man in Instagram, then she trusted him, then she met him, then he kills. So can you say social media has increased the risk for women being hurt by men? Thanks. Anyone? Are women at risk? Are women more vulnerable now because of social media? Okay, Dorcas.
Are women more at risk because of social media? I would. I think it's one of the avenues. I think what I said before during the femicide discussion, the greatest threat to a woman's safety or her life is not some stranger lurking in the dark. It is her husband. It is intimate partner violence or an ex-husband. You divorce him. Unamwacha na hawachiki. That's the most dangerous person. However, I do acknowledge the MO of the serial killer who took away Rita Waine's life. I think social media gives you a false sense of familiarity with someone. You start just chatting with somebody, they're always there, they're friendly, they're nice to you, and you think or you delude yourself into believing that you know them when you don't. You can't. That person is still a stranger. A Facebook friend is not a real friend. A follower on Instagram is not a companion, is still a stranger. So it gives that false sense of familiarity. Yet at the end of the day, you can't really know a person until you have met them in person. And I think this generation, the Gen Zs, are really vulnerable to that because social media is all they know. My niece was telling me how her sister is also a social media influencer. She has tens of thousands of followers. And her sister, she met someone on, was it Instagram or what? Or on Snapchat. She met someone on Snapchat, and the person invited her to his house. And imagine she went. The only precaution she took was to bring my niece along with her. So now these are two girls who are going into some stranger's house. The only thing that gave them maybe comfort was that it was a fancy estate. But people are killed. There are serial killers who are hiding in those fancy estates. So yeah, I think so. But we must remember at the end of the day with femicide, it is intimate partner violence that's the biggest culprit. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Dorcas. David? David?
Thanks, Muriuki. What social media does is to increase the number of I'm going to say stranger or interactions. It increases interactions because when we think back about the interactions that probably had before social media, they were at work, they were in the village, they were in the church, they were in a matatu, in a bus. If you are going to travel all the way with somebody to Mombasa, by the time you get to Mombasa, you actually know a few things about this person. So you see those interactions were actually real physical interactions. You met this person in a quote unquote safe place, open place. You talk. The next time you meet will probably also most likely be in an open place, maybe at their workplace or maybe at your workplace. So that has changed because the interaction now is no longer that way. It is out there, it is in space. It is somebody that is maybe in Asia, somebody that is in North America. It is not a physical meeting, but after conversing with this person for so long, you start feeling as though you know this person, but you still don't know this person. So I think that's a false sense of knowing someone because you have talked this much, but you haven't had a physical meeting. So if they harbor some bad ideas, it will come out, it might come out during the first physical meeting because they probably are thinking that, well, why should I have 10 physical meetings when this is what I want to do and I can do it in the first physical meeting. So yeah, I think that social media increases the number of interactions that we can have, and the more interactions you have, the more fake or funny interactions are possible. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, David. That makes it negative. That's a big minus for social media. What you're saying, you people, this thing of a fake. You think you know someone and you don't know them. That's very, very negative. That's a big minus. El Maestro.
But don't just let's not just say that it is only negative. I met very many people. I even met people in church, and we broke up. So it doesn't matter. So any any of you have had a broken heart, and maybe you were broken, your heart was broken by somebody from your village. They were not from social media. So let's no, we can't. No, let's not rush. Don't rush too quickly. Don't rush too quickly. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. El maestro.
Okay, I'm not sure if we should say. Okay, I'm not sure if we should say that because these days dating is like dating has transferred to social media. A lot of people are just are in social media to look for are using social media to look for partners. Unlike those days where when there was no social media, people were maybe looking for partners. I don't know how those days are maybe face-to-face interaction, or maybe in the workplace or neighborhood, but now today you can use social media to get someone who is from far away, and you can be dating. But now as to if they've made the women more vulnerable, maybe I can say yes, because when you are interacting with someone in social media that you don't know, it's and you easily trust them. It depends if you are someone who easily trusts people, because before you trust someone with your life or with your privacy, it should be. I think maybe they should improve on how they on how on this trust thing. You should not trust people easily. Because of course now we cannot avoid, because dating has transferred to social media. Is something you cannot avoid. But now, as to whether this person is genuine or not, people should improve on, should not be easily trusting strangers they've met online. Even if this stranger you're seeing he's posting his lavish lifestyle, I know maybe those are the things that make some women trust easily. They say they see this guy, whatever is on his social media, he's posting he's with a car, he's where today, he was in Nairobi, what those lavish lifestyle. As coming back to those societal pressure. You imagine being the wife or the boyfriend of this man you easily trust. So I think maybe, but it has not made women a lot vulnerable. But let me say a bit more, not so much, but a bit more vulnerable to such scams.
Thanks, maestro. Then Juliana, before you talk, just answer if you think women are more at risk. Are women more at risk because of social media? Thank
Yeah, thanks very much, Miroki. I think they're more at risk because the chances of connecting with them are higher, because you can use the social media platform to connect to women quickly and easily and anywhere. So that increases the risk. Just like David said, there's more points of interaction. And the other thing, especially for the young people, the social media provides a way to bypass, I'm calling it bypass parental supervision or something. So again, back when I grew up, we didn't have social media. We didn't even have phones. By the time a boy or a man came to my house to ask me out, I don't even know how they could do it. They couldn't bypass all that. My mom would know about it, the village would know about it. But now, with all these teenagers having phones, The parents have no idea what the kids are doing or who they're going out to meet. So that creates a level of vulnerability. Now, let's not forget, I know we're concentrating on the fact that women are at risk, but don't forget the men and the young boys who are also getting scammed by women or girls. It is there. It might be different, but let's not be so one-sided that we forget that there's another whole group of people that are also vulnerable to being scammed, especially with online dating. You know how some women are, and so you know how some women are in person. So you can imagine how those women are on the social media platform to unsuspecting innocent young men or professional men. So let's not forget that there's two sides to it. Although one seems to sort of suffer the consequences more than the other. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Juliana. Then I want to ask about religion. Can you say like social media has made a religion more powerful? It's making it people more gullible to religion because of our social media than before. What do you guys think? Has social media made religion more open to people? So people are more pulled to religion because of our social media. What do you guys think? And Maestro?
Okay, for me, it is the opposite. I think social media has actually uh, has actually pulled the religion a bit back because all information is a lot of information is there on social media where the or on the internet. I don't know if we can classify internet as social media, but I think because there's the information of the true information of what religion is, that is in social media and it's on the internet. I think it has made religion lose its grip somehow, even though they still that aspect of where like during COVID where they moved their preachings to social media, even though it is there, but still I think for me social media is actually has actually done something. If this imagine if there was no internet or social media, this information that you need to know that these religions are not good or they are scams, it will be very hard before you reach this that information. But now even those non-religious people who are living that who are closeted, they at least they just can create accounts on social media, and they can be able to just express themselves without someone knowing who they are. I think to a certain extent, it's two sides of the same coin. So I don't know which one has been more. I can't tell, but it has actually done a great deal in exposing it. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Maestro. Dorcas.
I believe that social media is really good at bringing together people who believe in unconventional ideas. If it is the traditional stuff, very often they rely on traditional methods of dispersion. And that one doesn't really get to the people as effectively, especially the younger generation, of which our country has a large proportion. So when it comes to non-religious ideas, I think social media really proliferates them. And this can be two-edged. It can be a two-edged sword. For us as critical thinkers, skeptics, and atheists, it is a good thing because atheists and even critical thinkers are not that many in our society. So social media can help to expose these contrarian ideas more quickly. On the other hand, it can be a problem because you get all manner of individuals with all manner of weird beliefs, superstitious ideas, who just need to create an account on any of those platforms in order to gain an audience. Case in point, my friends, as I told you, there's a group of female friends I have who I'm very close to. They tell me they are questioning their religion. You know, they're just seeing the cracks in the wall. I think they're on their way out. On the other hand, they are getting drawn into spirituality. And it is 100% courtesy of TikTok. 100%. There are some ladies on there. Some of them speak Kikuyu. Actually, many Kikuyus are on there. And they're talking about the religion, the beliefs of our ancestors, what our great grandmothers and fathers used to believe, and they are bringing this unconventional information out to the public, and it's very interesting. It's exotic. It's authentic, and it resonates with these people. That's why they're becoming spiritualists. Even conspiracy theorists, those flat earthers, anti-vaxxers, or anti-science people, they find community via social media. So even if they're living religion, they're not living superstitious ideas, because superstitious leaders are using those platforms to gain a following. There's a dude I went on one date with, and after that date, it was a one date affair, and it ended because he's a conspiracy theorist. He believes that all sickness is a scam created by big pharma. He's like, get on TikTok. There's this person, I don't know, called who and who. And then there's this one called, I don't know who and who. I can't even remember them. But he follows them. And they were like, you don't need modern medicine. Your body can heal itself. That was his assertion. I'm like, guy, huyu sasa tukipata mtoto si atakufa hapo malaria. Conspiracy theorists that are fueled by social media, because it has leveled the playing field in terms of who can share information. And if you don't have the tools to assess, to differentiate between misinformation, disinformation, fake news, and objective information, you will fall for that trap. In fact, I hope, Mr. Moderator, we are going to talk about solutions eventually. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Now I want Ndeve and Juliana to answer this question. In Canada, our churches are closing down. Like I saw some in Europe, churches are closing down. Then is social media increasing a religion in Canada? That's I want Ndeve and Juliana to kindly answer that question. Is social media increasing religious beliefs in Canada? And our churches are closing down, like in Europe. Thanks. Ndeve and Juliana, please. Maybe Ndeve, you go first.
That's a very loaded question, Muriuki. In my opinion, I have not observed as if social media is helping religion here, people will most likely be blogging about the tariffs now that we have got a tiff between ourselves and our cousins to the south. That will be more what will be capturing the people. You're not going to see anybody raising the dead or somebody in a church, unless they have come, they are our own people that have come over, that have got a miracle. I see occasionally something posted in our WhatsApp, and I think it's the Word Church and the miracle and the worship and the SDS and the PCA. Otherwise, that will actually be posted by people that came over here to be preachers. Not, for example, but somebody like me that got converted and became a preacher. No. The preachers will have come from Kenya as a preacher to come and preach in this country that is godless. So, no, I don't think it is. There's a proliferation of preaching in social media. No, I don't think. And if it is, and sometimes you might not tell the origin of someone, even if they are black or they are white, but maybe from their language you can know that, okay, who you know to, they have got the same accent as myself, who you know to, ama who you know who kunizaliwa this area. But no, it is not that popular. It is just the same as what is on the ground. It's a very much what is on social media. Yeah, that is what for us it is policy. We want to know the policy of a certain situation. I think people in North America have decided they don't want to go to heaven. So guys, guys in Africa, yeah, just go ahead, go to heaven. Thank you. Yes, just go ahead. God, you go to heaven and populate that place. They only need 144,000. Yo imefika kitambo. Thank you.
So, David, where you are, church commands power still. The church, it still commands power where you are.
No. What church?
So it does. It doesn't. Eh?
No, not much. Not much.
So
I go by the. Huh?
Guys don't go to church much. That's why I asked. So if
no, they don't. And the
so,
people who come from Africa to start churches, they don't have churches as such. They meet. I actually don't. I think they meet in halls or something like that, because our weather here is so bad. You can't have tents. You can't have tent churches. And in fact, even if the weather was good, because of zoning, you might even not be allowed to have a tent church out there. So no, the churches that we have are traditional churches, and they are the ones that are closing. And the churches that are not closing are the churches that are, we have people, PCA, which is predominantly Kikuyus. They come here and they want to keep their PCA. Or SDA, will have the people from Kisi, and they will want to have their SDA. They don't want to mix with the PCA. They just want to keep their, that kind of thing. And so they are still small. They are still small congregations. They're still small groups. Yeah, and the conventional churches here, like the Catholic Church, we have one very huge Catholic church here. It's pretty much not too many people attending. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, David. So, Juliana,
welcome.
Your experience with church and social media in where you are, church and social media, where you are, what's
actually,
your experience? Thanks.
Well, Nev is right. Anytime I get a message or anything about a religious event or a verse, it's coming from the diaspora community. Nobody, no Canadian is going to send me anything about Christianity. I will not get any flyer against Christianity, although I suspect we used to have a resident in our building who was a Jehovah's Witness. And every so often, I would get a flyer. And I think they'll probably want not to do that. You just can't do that because you're misusing your access to people's information for your benefit, and that is against the privacy and confidentiality. So that stopped. So I do not get any flyers. I do not get any Bibles. The only things I get are from the diaspora Kenyan community. We get, oh, there is a revival, something, someplace we've hired a hall. And Dev is right. We don't have churches per se, but they do rent halls. Or what I have seen happen in Edmonton is one time it was a Protestant church by a different group. Next time it's sold to a different Christian group and it's moved away. As for the Catholic churches, I'll be surprised if there's like 5 out there, because most of them are being sold and turned into apartments or turned into a bar or turned into something else, which is really good to see actually, because some of those buildings are really, really good. And it's nice to see that they're being used for a nice open purpose. Let's see. Yeah, so no, I don't think social media is promoting any, at least here. No, you don't see it. I think if I was, maybe if probably I was part of that Christian community, then maybe that's how I'll be getting my information, because there are no flyers. Like literally, when I go to a store somewhere, there's nobody outside giving me flyers like they would do in the past, where telling me, hey, here's a Bible, here's God loves you messages. No, none of that. And if they were, I wouldn't even take it. Like I'll just stand away. What I've seen, talking about spirituality and astronomy, I was at a function somewhere, and I don't know why she targeted me. She just walks up to me. It was an Indian lady. She walks up to me and gives me a card about astrology. She said, come, I'll do your reading. So these people are doing that because now they say, okay, maybe you're not religious, but maybe I can come and I do a reading on you. You pay me money. And we've got a lot of actually the Asian community, the Indians actually, the East Indians. If you go to the areas, they have all these astrology where they do their reading. And again, that's a whole other level of belief or disbelief that is coming into place. But otherwise, no, nothing, no social media. Even when I go, in fact, people are more scared to say they go to church, especially at work. No, you don't say anything. You just keep quiet about your religion. Yeah, and you just take your time off and you go to your church, but you don't announce to everyone, oh, I'm going to a revival. No, nobody cares. Nobody absolutely cares. So I think it's really nice that way. The only thing is, with my diaspora community, I think I mentioned this last time. I haven't really come out because I am worried that when I do, I will literally lose being invited to those activities. So I keep it on the down low for now, which is sad because I really should be out there evangelizing about atheism. Thanks.
Thanks, Juliana. Deborah, is your hand up?
Yeah. Yes, I'm going to add something that even with our gardening community. So with our gardening community, maybe could be 30 or more people in the gardening community. You will not hear, no. Well, you will not hear what God has done with our crop, no. And then it extends to a soup kitchen, or rather to a food bank. And even the people who run the food bank, when you leave them, when you give them some of your produce, nobody says thank God or anything, or they don't mention whether they are doing it for God or anything. I think they just do it as either as a community service or for the job they are employed to do. The people who run, there's a little shop for used clothing. I've not had anything, even another place that I went that they give, they do French classes, and they also give, people go there and they take the clothes they need or the things, the kitchenware that they need. And even though she was a Black woman, and I was waiting for her to say anything to do with God, no, she did not say anything, and anything to do with God. And the only person I've had mention God here was Jehovah's Witness people from Zimbabwe or something that came to my door. And what I gave them, of course, it's a lot of atheism and some seeds to go and grow for themselves. So yeah, so I think that probably sorted them out. I don't think they'll ever come, because I told them, if you want to become an atheist, just keep coming to my door. Yeah. So I think they probably won't come again. Although I would like to give them more seed, but they probably won't come again. So no, you don't hear a whole lot of religion, whether in thanking God or whether in praying or whether in street. What I miss, or rather what I really I am very happy to miss, is the street corner preachers. I am so glad to miss those. So happy. And there is no microphone, or we wouldn't have that. Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad to miss those. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, David. Okay, before we look for solutions, one final question. SAS-K, I think in the group we are 131 members. Here we are 6. Even in Hangout, we're normally very few. Yet we are 131 members. Now I wonder, could social media be working against us? Because in the WhatsApp group, we're very active. Some people are very active in WhatsApp, but they won't come for like this Zoom meeting or for a physical outing, like a video shoot. So I don't know if social media are working against us in Kenya. Because SAS-K, we just talk on WhatsApp, but we don't see each other. So is it a minus for us, SAS-K, use our group SAS-K? Is the social media a minus for us, a big minus? Because we are many in the group, but we meet, we're very few when we meet. I don't know what you guys think. Thanks. Okay, Ndeve?
But before we decide what could be the issue, we have to. There are some people who just like to be behind a keyboard and just to be writing. There are people who are better at writing than at speaking. We have to consider that. We also have to consider the cost of WhatsApp compared to the cost of Zoom. Is it possible? Because somebody can WhatsApp when they are taking care of a child, or when they are still with the family, or whatever it is, but they cannot Zoom when they are with family. So I think there are lots of dynamic that can play for somebody not coming to Zoom and not going to Hangout, because there could be some reasons that they might not be able to travel, and they might not be too comfortable asking for transportation every time to go to the Hangout. So unless and until we sort those issues, then it can be very hard to determine. We have never come out and said what's the reason that people don't come to Zoom meetings or to Hangouts. But we do know that with Hangouts, I think we do know some of the problems. It's not because, and don't forget that WhatsApp is also social media. It is working for us. WhatsApp is working for us. That room is usually lit.
There, it's working really. Okay, it's active, but we don't see each other. And
I agree, absolutely. I agree, absolutely. But I'm also saying that I read whenever I can read those in. I read and I start changing I start changing how I think about something. It adds an idea to how I think a certain something. It changes the way I think about something. So so something good happens to it. And however much I would wish that people came to Hangout. I remember this week I provoked people to come to Hangout, but we have to think what is keeping them from. I think we need to work on that. What is keeping people from going to Hangout? What is keeping people from coming to Zoom? We need to work on those. Thank you.
And what if I say WhatsApp helps people to hide? Like it knows they'll say they are members, but they'll come and hide behind WhatsApp. Is that accurate? It's helping people to hide themselves. Is that accurate?
Yeah, you could be accurate, But why do you imagine that everybody should want to come to Zoom? What if they don't want to come to Zoom? It's still okay. They are members of ASK, but they don't want to come to Zoom. You know how families run. Eh? Some people never even go to family meetings. Forget about the Zoom meetings. Some people don't even go. Mama and Asema, we are all meeting. They don't. He didn't, or Jimmy didn't even bother show up. So, and he's still a member of the family. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, we
Thank you.
are so active in WhatsApp, but in physical hangouts, video shoots, nah. Anyway, no problem.
Can
Okay,
I tell you? Can I tell you something? I am a member of a WhatsApp group with almost 1,000 people. The place is dead. The place is dead. So full of Christians. I mean, it's dead compared to ours. And then the other one of KCO. KCO is a little bit more active, and KCO has Kenyans in Ontario. It has got fewer people, but it's a little more active, but it's not like ASK. And then there's another group. That one is smaller. It is equally as quiet. And even the ideas that are shared there, they're not hot. They don't provoke you. You know, it is cold, and it is not provocative, because people are afraid of hot potato items, because they do not know how to have an objective conversation. The conversations are always subjective, so that kind of kills the conversation. But you can see in ASK, people are mostly objective, and they are also not afraid to throw a few stones and a few funny things. And people are not too sensitive, too touchy on those issues. They people can hold their own mostly. I think people have learned to hold their own, and I think it's a good thing that you be objective. You also take, you give a little SHIT, and you also take a little bit of SHIT, and the conversation goes on. It cannot be perfect, but people are having a conversation. I've seen some of the conversations there, and I wish I can read all of them, but they are not, people can have a conversation. I was saying the other day, some people come from the family, and I come from that kind of family. Eat your supper and go to bed. We don't want any gossip. Other people came from families that encouraged conversation. And you can tell the difference of people who can hold a conversation and have, on and on and on and on, having a conversation. And when you read it, they haven't run out of material. And they are going on, and they have not run out. I would have run out of material a long time ago, but they go on, and you can see that, you can see their mind working. You can hear the wheels turning in their heads, that that they are young and capable. So I don't know. Muriuki, I don't know how many WhatsApp groups you are in. I'm in some WhatsApp groups full of PhDs and doctors and engineers, and it is dead. Thank you.
Thanks, Ndeve. Juliana.
Yeah. So Muriuki, you're right. We have many members, but we don't see them at the Zoom or at the meeting. And I mean, Dev is right. There's some people who just like to talk, and many things can happen. Talking of groups, when I get up, because Dev is 2 hours ahead of me, by the time I get up, there's like 800 to 1,000 messages. Like, I can't read them all. So I'm glad we have that other group for notifications, because that's where I get my notifications. And sometimes when I read them, I get really entertained. So yes, our groups are quite active, even though we don't see them at Zoom or in person. But one thing I've noticed is that when I go back to YouTube and look at the channels, because like this one is being recorded on YouTube, I see that we sometimes get 40 to 50 people who are viewing, even though we only have 6 people at the meeting. But we have people who go back to the YouTubes and are looking at it. Even myself, I go back to those YouTubes and look at them. So however we are reaching people, I think we should just be happy. And we should be happy that our SAS-K is quite active and it allows for different types of dialogues, even though sometimes people might not be very kind or polite or professional, but at least we are having those. And maybe one day as we keep growing, we'll keep getting more people and we'll keep getting people coming into Zoom meetings. And most important, growing our viewership on the YouTube, which I always go back and I'm surprised to see, oh, wow, 40 views, 50 views, after the fact. So it's all good. It's all good. Thanks.
Thanks, Liana. Now maybe we can look at solution, because I've noticed for me, like people go for retreats. They go somewhere with no phones, everything. They go somewhere and retreat, no media, no nothing. But for me, it doesn't work, because when you come back to your normal setting, you're back to the same routine. So this thing of put your phone away, go like to a forest and somewhere and just meditate, doesn't work, because you'll come back to your house and back to the same routine. So I don't know what's the best solution. For me, it should be have your phone, but have discipline. Have your computer, but have self-control. For me, that's the best solution. Have your thing there, but be able to control yourself. So I don't know what you guys think. What's the best way to control, to have discipline with this social media thing? Thanks. Anyone, how do you control ourselves, the youth? What's the best way of self-control? David.
I wouldn't use the word control because you are dealing with adults. What I would expect is if you have really not entertaining, you have really engaging. If it is very engaging, nobody will go on their phones if they are in an engaging situation. But just to bring in people and tell them, oh yeah, you put your phones over there. No, they are not kids. So, but make it engaging. Make it engaging, and nobody will go for the phones. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Doctor, I didn't get, sorry, Dave, I didn't get you. What do you mean engaging? I didn't get you there. I didn't get you.
What I mean by engaging, make it by engaging is that maybe you have got very interesting conversation, you have got games, you have things that capture people, which capture people. What do people like to do? What do they like to do? Play board games? Do they like to sing? Do they like to dance? Have you guys ever tried to dance? Yeah, you have to engage people.
And David, how about the youth? Somebody young, a young person. How do you control their social media addiction? A young person.
Oh yeah, with the young people, it's a bit different. So, for example, in Ontario, now they are not allowed to bring their phones in classrooms, particularly during examinations. You cannot take your phone. And some people have. Somebody was telling me that some people were complaining when they were told that they cannot bring their phones. Then they were complaining because they rely on AI all the time. They're cheating, exam cheating. So they started complaining right away. So yeah, legislation. Sometimes you just have to do with the legislation, because you don't want your doctor to qualify to become a doctor and they didn't do their work. AI did their work. You know what that could mean? That could mean that person does not know the difference between the kidney and the liver. And woe to you if that is your surgeon and he does not know the difference between the kidney and the liver. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it has become that bad, and they have to ban them from the classroom or from the exam rooms.
Okay, thanks, David. Okay, anybody else? Solutions for addiction to social media? Anyone else?
Ryoki, I'm trying to raise my hand, but I can't. There's something wrong with my device.
Okay, yeah. Then just go then. You can go.
Okay. So let me go back to the previous question because I wanted to speak at that time, but my phone was misbehaving. On the issue of us being very few in Zoom meetings and in Hangouts vis-a-vis WhatsApp, where we get 800 messages in 24 hours. I think for me it is disappointing. I refuse to contend with the bare minimum because what Juliana and Dave are saying, we are still winning because at least the group is alive and there are all of these divergent opinions and we go everywhere. We talk about anything, nothing is beyond, nothing is off limits for us. Yes. I acknowledge that there are other WhatsApp groups where people don't engage. They're too inhibited and too self-conscious to discuss polarizing topics. But to me, a group isn't really a group. It isn't really effective if it is only online based. Imagine if you lost your father and all you have is an online group. People won't show up. They will not. If they cannot make time to come for a hangout, how will they make time to come and visit you when your dad is deceased? Or if you are sick, how will they set time aside for you? You are just a character on a screen. They won't come through for you. The real community is the one that is physical, or at least if they are they're prohibited by geography, then at least let's have some Zoom meetings. For me, that was the vision I had when I offered myself to be a vice chair of this society. At the time we were SAS-K. When I stood up for that role, I said, I want this society to be different from other atheist societies because there are many atheist societies in Kenya. Mark you, there are many, there are over a dozen, but all of them are online. They are WhatsApp based. They don't meet. They don't have hangouts. They don't do anything. They don't know each other. You would not call that a community. They won't be ride or die for you because it's just chatting, keyboard warriors, chatting. So that was my push all along. I was like, we need to be active. We need to have physical meetings. We need to go and do debates in public fora. We need to put atheism out there. That was the vision that I had when I offered myself up for this position, because that's how you move things. It's not enough to just be a WhatsApp group. If we are going to entrench secularism, if we're going to promote separation of church and state, and if we are going to remove religion from our education system, we can't do that only as a WhatsApp group. We need to go to the ground. So we need to get more people involved in physical meetups. Now, that brings me to the solutions. I won't get into so many because I've already spoken for long, but we need to do more marketing and expand our pool of members. We are just 140. 140 is not enough. In digital marketing, there's this thing called the 10% rule, that when you try to reach, when your marketing message is reaching 100 people, expect only 10% to resonate with you or to respond positively. So it's the same thing with our WhatsApp group. We are 140 people, but 10% would be 14. 14 are the ones who normally show up for Hangouts. Actually, that's so precise. That number is so precise because that's the average number we usually get in our Hangouts, around 15 people. Yeah. So if we want more people to come to our Hangouts or more people to come to our Zoom meetings, increase the number of people in our WhatsApp group. And how do we do that? We need to market ourselves more. Let's get to 1,000 WhatsApp members. And then at least out of those 1,000, 10% would be 100. 100 people will show up for our Hangouts. So I think that's how I would respond to that bit. Now, for managing your mental health and social media, I think people need to take time to touch grass. Go outside. Find physical hobbies. Stop living in the virtual world alone. Use that social media to look for events happening around your area and go for those events, real physical events. Get off that phone. Do stuff. Yeah, that is very important for your mental health. The more you keep scrolling, the more you keep seeing all the fake depictions on social media, the worse your mental health gets. But the more outgoing you are, the more physical you are in your life, the better your mental health will be. Then I also suggest using digital solutions to limit the amount of time that you spend on certain platforms. You know, there was somebody who said that they spent their entire weekend on TikTok. Like, you wake up, she didn't even shower. She just went on TikTok the whole day and night. She was just on TikTok. She ate while on autopilot and then continued on TikTok. That's not healthy. It's not. You need to limit the amount of time. So have an application that can stop you, like it logs you off when you get to a certain amount of time. That way, at least you're going to spend your other time of the day doing other things. Let me just add one last one. This one pertains to the young ones, because I think children, preteens, even teens, arguably, are too young to be left alone with these devices. It's like you're inviting a stranger into your house and you're leaving your child alone with that stranger. You don't know what deep dark hole they are going to get into. So you need to postpone giving them devices, because the moment you give them a device, they will access social media. Even if you put those blocks or what have you, they figure it out. They're smarter than you technologically. They'll figure it out. They'll see how to overcome those passwords. So I think we need to postpone the age at which we give children mobile phones. Yes, they will feel like loners in their school or among their peers, but sometimes what is popular isn't what is proper. Let's postpone it until they get to their teens. Then when they do, you need to be able to know what they're doing on social media, and you should follow them. Follow them on Instagram. Me, I follow my niece. Naonanga tu vituko kanafanyanga hapo. But at least I know. And now she's an adult, she's 18, there's nothing I can do about it. But follow your kids. Follow your kids on TikTok, follow your kids on Instagram, uone ni nini wanafanya huko. Yeah, don't leave your child alone with strangers, because that social media is a stranger, metaphorically speaking. You don't know what dangers are lurking in there. So you need to monitor their activities to make sure that they don't fall into any of those loopholes. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Dorcas. So maybe we can give us solutions and closing remarks. We can start with Juliana. Solutions and closing remarks to social media addiction. Yeah.
Okay.
Juliana, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you, Miriam. I was just leaving my office. My day is done. So, okay. Solutions. I think Doctors has really good solutions. At the end of the day, parents or custodians are responsible for the welfare of their charges, people under them. And the onus is on them to make sure those dependents are protected and are taken care of. And if that means hiring somebody to follow, well, if you can afford it, hiring somebody to follow those kids every day so that you know where they're going, so be it. It will just be like you're hiring a person to clean your house. Now you're hiring a person to make sure that those kids are not going to questionable websites or social media. And number two, take away those devices from the child. You're the parent. Like, really, what is a 10-year-old, 11-year-old doing with a cell phone? Like, seriously, what do they need the cell phone for? We did not. Well, I shouldn't say that because they tell me, oh, those were your days. But seriously, why does a child need a smartphone at 10 or 11? Are they doing their homework on their smartphone? And if they are, put in some measures and controls to ensure that they're not going to some questionable websites. I think parents and custodians should take their responsibility of raising the kids seriously. And I know it's very hard to do because maybe the parent themselves are an addict of social media, and sometimes giving the child a cell phone is part of the babysitting. Just go away and look and play games. Don't bother me. But no, we have to take responsibility, or otherwise, let's stop complaining about kids being taken advantage of. What else? Closing remarks? Okay, this has been interesting. I have learned a lot, and I've changed, and my mind has been changed also in various aspects on whether social media is good or bad for us. So I'm really happy that I was able to participate today, and I look forward to next week's topic. Thank you, Miroki. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, Juliana, you mentioned a 10-year-old kid. Did you mention teenager? I think I missed that. I had the 10-year-old kid. What about a teenager? How do you control a teenager? I think I missed if you mentioned. Sorry.
Well, so but here's the thing, Miroki. As I don't know about if Kenyan the age has changed, but here the age is if you're 18 and under, you're under the responsibility of your parents. That is your responsibility. So first of all, usually smartphones are very expensive. The plans for the smartphones are expensive, and usually parents are the ones paying for those fees for access to the smartphones. That's how you control. You say, I'm going to limit how many hours you spend on the internet, because there's some tools you can put on the system to monitor that. David talked about schools now not allowing students to take cell phones. Okay, that's one thing that you can do. You tell your kids, you will only get your cell phone when you have done your homework. It doesn't matter if they're a teenager or not. In fact, that is one of the best ways of controlling teenager, is taking away their access to their smartphone, because that's how they keep in touch with their friends. So that's easy to control them actually by the smartphone. I'm not going to buy it for you, or I'll buy it for you, but I'll limit how many minutes you can use per day, because you can do that. So that's how you can control. And the thing is, you're a parent. Like, seriously, you're a parent. You're not that child's friend. So do whatever you have to do to keep that that person safe. They will not like you. In fact, they will not. But when they're older, they will absolutely appreciate that you took the time to take care of them. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Juliana. Okay, El Maestro, closing remarks and solutions. El Maestro, you're there.
Social media, of course, it's a good thing, but as they always say, too much of something is poisonous. So we should set people should set limits on social on how the extent to which they use social media. So you should maybe just be setting like 2 hours. Don't use social media, or 2 hours to do something else like exercising. Just find something else to do, because social media. If you use too much social media, actually your concentration is also very minimal when you are now among other people. Every time you're just checking on, and also maybe I think people should also reduce the amount of accounts that they have. Like if someone has Facebook, he has Instagram, he has Twitter, he has, I don't know, Threads, I don't know, he has TikTok, he has Telegram, I don't know which are these apps, Snapchat. You finally, hey, how can you be having all these social media apps, an account in all these social media apps? Hey, for me, I say that I just have maybe a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and then somehow TikTok, because of SAS-K, maybe managing all those social media accounts. It is tricky, and now that's now makes you, I mean, when you are off Twitter, you are now you go to Facebook out, you are on Twitter out, you are on Instagram. It's just an endless logging in and logging out. You should be any social media that comes out, is not a must that you should have an account. Like me, I just say I don't know Snapchat. I've never wanted to create an account, and I've never even known even how it works. I just hear it. I don't know Telegram. I don't know Threads. I don't know which ones. Those are so many accounts for one person to manage. I think that's it. It just have that mentality of, it is not a must you have every social media account on your phone. Just take a few social media accounts. That will be enough. Yes, that can be also a social solution. Yes, and that's my final take.
And El Maestro,
Back
school
to
kid,
you.
as a school kid, El Maestro, school kid.
School kid now, I don't know how to handle this. The school kids of these days, the parents should be more involved in what is on their phones, because apart from school kids, actually, apart from this having many social media accounts, they also have many games that they play on their phones. Parents should just be a bit more involved in what their children take in their phones. That's it. See you all on Sunday. Apart from obvious Juliana and Dave. I hope one day you'll be in Kenya for the hangouts. Yes.
Okay. So thanks, El Maestro. Ex-Pastor Stano, are you there? Ex-Pastor Stano, closing remarks and solutions.
Yeah.
Ex-Pastor Stano. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. For me, what I can say is good to be moderate whenever you are using social media, because it's much addictive. Like for me, I normally listen to comedies while working because my work is much technical, does not involve much brain. So I can work while listening to some comedy. So, but sometimes maybe after work, when I get into Facebook or sometime into TikTok, I find myself attracted, and even I can stay even 2 hours. So I try very hard to discipline myself, and even sometimes I put my phone away from me so that I'm able to get time to rest or time to have fun with my kids. About preventing the kid about social media, mine, they really disturb me a lot because even they can stay without sleeping on YouTube watching cartoon, and sometimes they can snatch a phone, their older one, to play our games. So, and on that case, I keep on changing my password, but sometimes he can master my password. Whenever I realize, I change again, but now I am just be putting a complicated one so that he may not just take my phone and start playing game because I'm trying to discipline them not to be much addicted with the social media. So whenever I come from work, I must switch off their TV, and when they are not have not yet done their homework, the maid or the one who is around must control them so that they may not be addicted. It's very hard to deny them social media according to our new technology. They have the right, or we can give them that permission to look or to have access with the social media, but we try to control them for them not to stay there too long. Yeah, although sometimes I find myself giving them phone whenever I see they are disturbing me when they are playing around me, and I want to concentrate in certain issue. So I normally give them the phone to do some things. So thank you.
So, Kwani, how do they know your password? How do they get your password?
The older one is very wise. Sometimes he can come behind me, watch grocery
Oh, okay, I get
without
it.
me realizing it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, sawa. Sawa. Okay, David.
Thanks, Moriyuki. I'm just laughing at Stano playing good cop, bad cop with the housekeeper. Yeah, Stano. Stano, the housekeeper is the bad cop. That God disciplined them. Anyway, I wanted to say on how to keep media at a check for the young people. I think that the only thing we are left with is education, 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 because social media is a tool, and we cannot say that, for example, a knife. We can't say that because knives cut people, you can't have a knife in the kitchen. Of course, you will have a knife in the kitchen. But what have we done? We have learned that a knife is for cutting the vegetables, cutting the meat, cutting this and cutting the other. We don't cut ourselves or cut the other person. So I think with the social media, because it is here with us to stay, we have to learn what it is for. It's not for cutting, it's not for destroying ourselves or destroying the other person. It's for to be used. And when you are finished using it, put it away and go do something else. Go for a walk, go actually do some real work, and go have a conversation with the family, because as we learned that a knife, even if it is very nice looking, it's very nice and sharp, it's not for playing with. It's a tool. It's okay. You can entertain yourself with a knife. I remember when, if anybody remembers those folding knives, there used to be a lot of fun, and you could have a lot of entertainment with a folding knife. But on the other, it is a tool. So after you finished playing with it, the novelty of it, then you learn that, oh, it is for eating a mango. So after you finish eating your mango, you wash it, you fold it, and you put it in the pocket until the next time you have to eat a mango, something else. So I think that is where we have to go with social media, and I think we are all going to be involved in it, whether we are adults or we are children. We have to know how to use this tool wisely. Thank you.
Thanks, David. Doka, you can close. Dorcas, you're there. Or is your mic misbehaving? Dorcas. I think it's a mic misbehaving. Dorcas? No. Okay, then guys, I think we can close then without Dorcas, because I don't know what's up. I can see her hand, but she's not there. So Stano, we can close.
Yeah, I can just say good morning to those who are Kenya, and good afternoon to those who are diaspora, Juliana and Deve. So thank
Thanks
you all.
everyone. Yeah, thanks for contributing, everyone. I appreciate.
Okay, good morning, people in Kenya. Bye.